GAMEINFORMER. GAMEINFORMER. Ah, ok, perfecto. De puta madre. A ver.
Hello friends, Alex Stadnick from Game Informer here. Today, we have the very special treat to show off the Halo Infinite campaign, the first level of the Halo Infinite campaign, if you will. Chief has woken up 18 months after Halo 5,
Madre mía.
6 months
Hostia, el fo,
after
joder.
he got in a certain skirmish that we won't be showing here today, but you know, he's trying to figure everything out. And he's fighting off the banished here on their warship. We talked to
Se ve de puta madre,
and they really wanted to
se ve muy bien.
hammer home,
Hostia. Se ve muy bien,
they really wanted to call back to Halo Combat Evolved in that game. If you remember, you know, you start your adventure on the Unicy ship and fight your way off, similar here, but on a brute ship. And this is also a good opportunity to highlight the combat changes, right? So, you know, this is a more vertical space that you can use the grapple shot in. That is not just for getting around, as you can see right there.
Ah, fíjate, el gancho les echa para atrás el escudo.
Gives you a window to really finish them off there. So this is a really interesting start to the campaign. It really sends home the fact that 343 really wants to hit on what made Halo great, and I think they're off to a great start. If you want to see more from the campaign,
se ve muy guay, tío. Se ve muy guay. Al menos en interior se ve que te cagas.
Thanks, be good to one another, and we'll see you next time.
Uf, a ver qué tal.
Be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube to stay up to the minute with all the latest Halo news, and for more, be sure to head over to GameInformer.com.
A ver qué tal, tío. Estoy intentando no hipearme demasiado, pero va a estar difícil. Que por cierto, la imagen que he visto antes. Esta es la imagen que he visto antes. A ver si la veo, a ver si la encuentro. Aquí está. Esta es. Esto es lo que he visto antes. Esta es la portada. Está chulísima, ¿eh? Está guapísima la portada, ¿eh? Muy, muy chula. Y esta también está brutal, tío. Hombre, un anuncio de Forza. ¿11 minutos? ¡Wow! ¡Wow, wow, 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 wow! ¡Dios! ¡Dios, qué guapo esta parte!, ¿no? Hostia, ojo, 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 ¿eh? Si aquí le está echando la bronca, tío. Parece que alguien le está echando la bronca. Tiene, o es un casco, o es como la mano de alguien. Es como, creo que es la mano del élite. O sea, el élite le está amenazando con cortar el cuello en esta parte. Qué guapa esta parte, tío. Creo que estará. Estará de meme, estará de guiño, estará de como easter egg o algo.
Hours of playing Halo Infinite's campaign wasn't the delightful exploration nor the incredibly fun gunplay. Instead, it came down to the characters. Halo Infinite sees the legendary Master Chief once again tasked with saving the universe from yet another threat.
Perdona, un momento, perdón.
It's the legendary fun gunplay. Instead, it came down to the characters. Halo Infinite sees the
¿Qué arma es
legendary
esa?
Master Chief
¿Qué arma es esta? ¿Qué arma es esta? Es nueva. Esta arma es nueva. Este arma. Parece como un rifle de asalto. Un rifle de batalla. Un rifle de asalto tuneado.
Halo Infinite sees the legendary Master Chief once again tasked with saving the universe from yet another threat. And after 5 major campaigns, the Chief seems tired. He's a man of few words, but his movements and responses are heavier than I've seen before. This is Chief without Cortana. His subtle yet distinct change is far from a bad thing, though. If anything, Master Chief's forlorn demeanor that he sets aside to get the job done is a great indication to me that Halo Infinite's story is intended to be a more impactful adventure.
Pero esto ya se vio. Esto ya se vio.
Personality, contrasting characters aren't
Esto
the
no.
only things to look forward to, though. Rewarding exploration infused with Halo's DNA and genuinely challenging combat could be relief in today's
Hombre, otra arma.
extravaganza,
Otra arma.
where many worlds
De los
are packed to the
desterrados.
brim with chores and only a few offer meaningful adventures beyond their main path. If things continue the way I played in my 4-hour hands-on time, I think Halo Infinite could fall into the latter. That's not to say there aren't some essential elements of Halo Infinite I'm curious to see if 343 can pull off.
Se ve brutal,
Like
eh.
Chief's storyline with Cortana. For now, what I've
La
played
doctora
in my
Halsey.
session has left me even more eager for
La doctora
Halo
Halsey.
Infinite's December 8th launch.
Wow, tío, cómo le he esquivado ahí la bala, eh. Cómo ha esquivado la granada, tío.
Echo 216. Can you hear me? This is UNS.
Has woken up to fight a new enemy. Halo Infinite largely sees that pulled back by instead focusing on familiar fodder with the Banished from Halo Wars 2. They eagerly step up as Chief's main adversaries after handily defeating the UNSC around Zeta Halo.
Nah, esto pasa.
Master Chief.
El mes que falta pasa rápido.
But if it involves a Halo ring, there's nothing good that can come of it. After the UNSC's loss, Master Chief's main objective becomes freeing the captured
Wow, le han puesto un nuevo
Halo
movimiento.
and
Atacan por arriba.
whatever the Banished are planning.
I am Eshelon, War Chief of the Banished. This is my world now.
Cortana
Dios,
is
qué
presented as a
guapo.
mystery rather than as a primary
Es que el jefe maestro mola
protagonist
mucho,
that I
tío.
played. What happened to her after Halo 5 and
El
whether
jefe
or not
maestro
she's
mola
going to be
mucho, tío.
destroyed is unknown.
El jefe maestro mola mucho.
This crucial conflict seemingly takes a backseat to the larger fight with the Banished, though it is intertwined somehow. Without getting into spoilers, I will say the few moments that dug into Chief and Cortana's relationship were an emotional gut punch. Halo Infinite is looking to deliver a meaningful story for legacy Halo fans, and I really needed to fulfill that promise
Hola, mate.
after Halo 5 story missteps.
She's not the driver, but a way to level.
Tío, mira qué mona está, tío. Me flipa este diseño, tío. Me flipa este diseño. La calidad del diseño original actual, tío. Qué guapo. Mira ahí, qué guapa es. Mira ahí. La guapísima Cortana. Estaba buena, La doctora Halsey de joven estaba buena, La madre que la parió, Menuda puta waifu.
That's
La
good.
madre que la parió.
She named herself. Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
This all being said, I'm not optimistic that Halo Infinite is going to be a great starting point.
Buenas,
for
Baruete.
to the franchise,
Beruete, perdón,
as
Beruete.
the best moments I saw in the first few hours rely on prior knowledge of the series. I don't like the idea of people being left behind, but I selfishly prefer that this game is made for
Ese es Atriox,
Halo fans.
Este que se ve ahí.
People being
A ver.
left behind. Prior knowledge.
Este es Atriox.
No,
Este es Atriox.
Knowledge of the series. I don't like the idea of people being left behind, but I selfishly prefer that this game is made for returning Halo fans rather than tuning the story to accommodate new players. Familiar with the story or not, though, Halo Infinite sure is fun to play and explore.
I think I'm with you. I didn't even know what a banished was an hour ago, and even I can see the odds aren't great.
Playing Halo Infinite is a mix of familiar and new. One moment you're navigating encounters and ship corridors, then the next you're driving several Marines around the open fields of Zeta Halo.
Se ve muy nítido, Se ve muy bien, tío. Se ve súper nítido, súper claro. Y eso que es el 4K versión YouTube de mierda,
Zeta Halo is broken up into island
Que los
chunks,
4K de YouTube son mis
and NASAs
cojones.
can be connected by bridges, and Chief can eventually call in things like a wasp to fly around anywhere after they're unlocked. So eventually we may get to freely explore
¡Hala!
locked areas. but our range will be limited.
Ahí, sin
to
ningún
at
cuidado.
first.
Ahí.
Zeta Halo is littered with UNSC camps called Forward Operating Bases that were claimed by the Banished after the UNSC lost the big fight. Clearing a base and reclaiming it replaces the Banished with Marines. Even better.
Esto sí me gusta. Estos coleccionables en Halo sí me gustan, porque Halo me gusta y que haya coleccionables que aporten historia, detalles, eso sí me mola mucho. Eso sí mola, al estilo de en Halo 5 Guardians. En Halo 5 había coleccionables que eran como sonidos. Y esos molaban, porque daban lugar a especulaciones y a ciertos detalles de posibles cosas para el futuro y tal. Esto sí me gusta. Esto sí.
Cleared bases convert to instant fast travel points and earn you Valor. Worry not. Valor isn't some sort of spendable currency. It's instead a point-based tracker of how much ground the UNSC has on Zeta Halo. The more Valor you have, the better backup and gear you can call in. As far as I could tell, earning Valor and reclaiming the Broken Ring is entirely optional. So what else can you do when you're not hunting down the next clue to the Banished plan? People don't just get to give the Master Chief a fetch quest. The only one who really gives Master Chief
Se ve muy bien, Se ve muy bien. La calidad de las texturas es buenísima, Es brutal la calidad de las texturas.
Though Cortana is seemingly gone, the weapon remains and is happy to assist Master Chief until she reaches her eventual demise. Much like Cortana, the weapon will call out enemy attacks, notable objectives, banished facilities that need destroying, and Marines in need of rescuing. I was more likely to come across a random patrol of enemies than an actual objective, but I didn't feel like I had to go too far to find something fun to do. I enjoyed the quiet moments though. Following Zeta Halo's native space groundhogs or just enjoying the view was a pleasant reprieve from the
unos pequeños
action.
topitos.
When I was ready to get back to it though, I could also hunt down and eliminate special targets.
Mirad cómo se ilumina la mano. Cómo mola aquí la iluminación. Mirad,
When I was ready to get back to it though, I could also hunt down
en el
and
brazo.
eliminate special
Guapísimo,
targets to collect. I could also hunt down and eliminate
Muy guapa
special targets to
la
collect
iluminación
a
ahí.
unique version of their signature weapon that's equipable at FOBs. And of course, there are plenty of collectibles. A new scanner tool does make them a bit easier to find, if you have an idea of where to look. The scanner's range is rather limited though, so it's not a free pass to finding secrets. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Grunt and Marine dialogue. They're hilarious. The grunts are as silly and
Y este arma, por cierto, este arma la han cambiado. Este arma era de los Brutes, si no recuerdo mal, en Halo 2. No sé seguro si era en Halo 3, supongo que sí. En Halo 2 salía, si no recuerdo mal. Y era más bien, parecía una escopeta más bien, como una escopeta mini y tal. Esto parece que ahora el disparo es mucho más puntero. Es mucho más directo que el original. La han cambiado, pero el arma es la misma.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Grunt and Marine dialogue. They're hilarious. The grunts are as silly and oddly aggressive as ever, and have a surprising number of lines. Humans would never fight grunts like us. He's here! While the Marines are far more confident and excited about joining the Chief in battle. Their commentary made exploring all the more enjoyable.
Just in the nick of time, Chief.
Just because Zeta Halo is a larger, more open sandbox doesn't mean 343 suddenly has us doing puzzles or tasks unbecoming of a genetically augmented super soldier like Master Chief. Fighting enemies and destroying their stuff is always at the center of Halo Infinite's gameplay, and whether I was taking on a roaming pack of Banished or infiltrating a fortress for a story mission, the more open nature only served to give me more options for combat.
Uy, que es más rara ahí,
If you've had a chance to check out either of the multiplayer test flights, Halo
Ya, esto ya es el
Infinite's
multijugador.
and weaponry should come as no surprise. The campaign introduced me
Vale,
to
vale.
other interesting
Hombre, otra
weapons
arma.
we've yet to see in
Otra
multiplayer
arma, una
Instructor.
pistola.
A small
Una pistola de los
shotgun
renegados.
doesn't do too much immediate damage, but deals up pain over time. The
Wow,
equipment
para
we've
arriba.
seen in multiplayer unsurprisingly takes on a more powerful form in the campaign.
Vale, esto ya lo sabíamos, esto ya lo vimos el otro día. Otro gameplay. Las habilidades, los accesorios, más que habilidades, los accesorios se puedan mejorar.
Like most of the open world elements, finding the Spartan cores and upgrading equipment is optional. Master Chief
Dice que es opcional. Lo de equiparse, lo de encontrar las mejoras de las herramientas y todo esto es opcional.
won't start the adventure with all equipment either. You'll find new tools to play with at specific story beats. Lacking a piece of equipment doesn't necessarily mean you're blocked off from certain areas from what I saw, but getting to or taking on difficult encounters...
Tío, mirad. Imaginaros un Halo en tercera persona. Sería la polla. Sería espectacular un Halo en tercera persona. Qué guapo, tío.
More manageable should you have more equipment.
Dios, qué bien se ve esa nave, ¿eh? Y ese fondo. Joder. Qué bien se ve, ¿eh?
Necessarily mean you're blocked off from certain areas from what I saw, but getting to or taking on difficult encounters might be more manageable should you have more equipment. Most of the big story beats happen in large, foreboding structures that could be viewed as something akin to dungeons. These offer a more classic Halo experience. Grunts, jackals, brutes, and elites.
¿Veis cómo es mucho más directo el disparo?
Their role, weapon, and armor variety didn't feel lacking in combat. I came across one set of brutes that were so geared up they nearly qualified as a mini boss fight. The hunters make a return too, and are fun to fight as always. This being another ring, the Flood was alluded to, though I never saw them. The Prometheans weren't present either. 343's vision of recapturing the essence of combat evolved in Halo Infinite means there's not really room for them, and honestly, I had plenty of fun without them. I didn't see any drones either, so I'm hoping the new flying enemies equipped with hardlight weapons, the skimmers, will be their replacement. The real combat stars, though, are the boss fights. The first one with a brute lieutenant named Tremonius absolutely kicked my ass at first on heroic.
Se ve puta madre este escenario, ¿eh?
A moment without movement rewarded Tremonius as he entered the encounter guns blazing and took me out twice in a row. I had been handling heroic without any issues up until that point, so I was stunned to see how Tremonius's aggression and support
Han puesto batallas al estilo de Halo 2, batalla al estilo la que hay, las que hay contra los... En Halo 2 y Halo 3 al estilo que hay contra los ¿cómo se llaman? Contra los profetas o contra ¿Era Tartarus? ¿Era Tartarus?
The story part is what I'm most curious about now. 343 needs to stick the landing in the plot department, especially with regard to giving us a satisfying resolution to the Chief and Cortana's relationship. If they can finally deliver that well-rounded classic Halo experience, then they'll have successfully and definitively made Halo their own. For more on Halo Infinite, check out our exclusive reveal of the new Streets multiplayer map, and stay tuned all November
se ve guapísimo,
long
tío,
for
se ve
more
brutal.
IGN first coverage on Master Chief's latest adventure.
Qué guapo, tío, cómo mola el jefe, tío, su puta madre. Mola mucho. Me ha gustado, tío. Me ha gustado. Muy chulo, tío. Muy chulo.